why do we have a hard time believing that we can do things? Like believing that we can do whatever the thing is. I really believe it's because we don't understand who we are based on whose we are. Like if I see a common human fault in us humans, it is that we do not understand who we are based on whose we are. And so we live well below our potential because we don't understand that potential is the difference between who we are and who we could be. And we do that perpetually because of our lack of belief in what God said about us. That's a bold statement, ain't it? No, I believe what God said about me. Oh, is that a fact? Have you been following the first command? I didn't say the first commandment, because the first commandment, the 10 commandments came thousands of years after the first command. The first thing God ever said to a human being was, be fruitful. What's fruit? Fruit is a living organism whose seed is in itself. So when God said be fruitful, what's he saying? Produce on the outside based on what I put on the inside of you. God put an aspect of his creativity inside of all of us. And we're supposed to make it show up outside of us. And when we do, and it shows up outside of us, it will serve people at a very high level. Be fruitful, multiply. Why? Because fruit does not grow by addition. It grows by multiplication. What did Warren Wiersbe say? Any fool can count the number of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in a seed. Multiply. You know what multiply means? It means to increase. So God said, produce on the outside based on what I put on the inside and increase. Is that how we live? Not generally. We get to a point that society told us that we should be at by a certain age and we stagnate. Yeah, but you already have enough. Okay. Now that you have enough for you, go get some more so you can help somebody else. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. The word replenish means to fill up. So God, the first thing God told the man to do, he said, produce on the outside based on what I put on the inside. Multiply and increase, fill up the earth. And then he says, and subdue it. Subdue means to trample down. Stomp everything that attempts to stop you. What does that mean? That means you are going to have opposition because disruption always follows intention. Okay? And then he said, and have dominion. If God is telling us to have dominion, that means we have the ability to have dominion because God never commands us to do something he didn't give us the ability to do before he gave us the assignment. He never tells us to do something and gives us a command to do something before he gives us the capacity. So if he's telling me to do it, that means by the very virtue of the fact that he's telling me to do it, that means I can do it. And so I bought more into my identity, all of the things that all the people around me my whole life told me I am not tall enough, not pretty enough, not athletic enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, not mathematically inclined enough. You don't get good enough grades, and you are so intimately aware of what you are not that you are almost completely unaware of who you are.
Wow.
That's the identity. And by the way, here's what's going to happen. When you break, it's so interesting to watch people attempt to overcome the identity. Because everybody's more than they think they are. Everybody. There's not a single solitary person listening to me, Myron Golden, I'm talking right now. I am more than I think I am. I have more ability than I believe I have. I'm working on believing I have more. I ain't perfect at this. I ain't preaching at y'all, I'm preaching at us. But this is something that I've been practicing for a long time. And I am telling you, there are things that I do right now I could have done in my 20s, but I didn't have the belief in my 20s I have right now. And I'm telling you, if you shift the belief, and I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. Yes, I will. So stop painting old fruit, start planting new roots. How do you do that? Oh, if I could just introduce you to you. If I could just introduce you to you and help you begin to become even a little more aware of what it means when it says we're made in the image and the likeness of God. How can you believe that you're weak or that you're too tired or not smart enough or not young enough or not old enough? How can you possibly believe that when you're made in the image of a great God? How can you believe you're less than anything but great? I don't have the ability to believe that you're less than something that great. And I know I get on people's nerves believing in their greatness sometimes. I get it. But I can't stop because it's an awareness that I've become more aware of, and I can't stop believing in your ability to become more than you've been being. But how do I do it? Well, here's how you do it. You plug into the ultimate identity. What does that mean? So when people have an identity, you've been told your whole life, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not, all of that, your whole life. Well, guess what? We begin to resent it. We know it's, like in our heart of hearts, we know it's not true. And so we attempt to prove it's not true by creating what I call a my-identity. What's a my-identity? That's another fake identity that you create while you're faking it to make it, till you make it, to prove to other people that you're more than they thought you weren't. But it's still not the real you. Because it's a reaction to people's misperceptions of you instead of a response to who God told you you are. I mean, there are people in this room right now who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe 60s. Maybe I'm the only one in here in my 60s. You're in your 60s too, Ed? This year, okay. Yeah, so 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s who we're still trying to prove something to our third grade teacher. Still trying to get daddy's approval when you don't realize you already have your heavenly Father's approval. Still trying to get mama to notice you. Baby, get over it. Let that ship sail. Until you get your identity from the ultimate identity. Moses asked God when he got ready to go to Pharaoh, who shall I say has sent me? God's answer confused me for decades. Tell him that the I am that I am has sent me. We doing tongue twisters now? I'm already stuttering. Now I got to go do a tongue twister. Right? But see, we don't understand the significance of that. When God said, I am that I am, he is the essence of everything. I am that I am. What I am? The I am that created everything out of nothing. I am that I am. The I am that sent the flood. I am that I am. The I am that sent fire and brimstone from heaven to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. I am that I am. The God that called Abram away from his country, away from his kindred, and away from his father's house. I am that I am. To go to a land that he couldn't even know where it was until he got there. I am that I am. The God that spoke to Moses, the God who gave Moses the commandments on the tablet. I'm that I am. The one that parted the Red Sea. I am that I am. And you think your problem's too big for me? You are the one that's confused. If you can believe, if you can, will you have compassion on us and help us? If you can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. Believe it or not. Thanks for watching.